What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by AutoTopNL. My name is Max, and today we are checking out this all new, one thing has changed for the 2022 Maserati Ghibli TROFEO, which is the stitching on the headrest. Other than that, a lot of changes happened in 2021. And of course, the TROFEO is the coolest version you can get. It is the first and only V8 powered Ghibli. So today I'm going to show you around it. We're going to take a look at the spec, of course, and then I'll show you the interior. We'll take it for a drive towards the Autobahn for an Autobahn blast. Okay, so the spec we've got today is Grigio Maratea, this color, this dark gray. And this is the matte version. Now this is basically a Maserati individual color, so you can spec this color, but you have to pay for it. This is 18,000 euros, this paint. As far as matte paints go, this is super nice, but I can't help thinking that it would have looked better with a regular paint. But anyway, we have a couple of design cues here at the front that make this a TROFEO, which is we've got carbon fiber in the front bumper here, very nice and aggressive front bumper, little accents down there as well on the lower part, and of course we've got the big gaping mouth grille, super aggressive front end with new headlight units for 2021. And the TROFEO gets these air vents in the bonnet to extract hot air from the engine compartment, which looks super awesome. Yeah, it is still a very good looking car. It's been around for 8 years, but it is still pretty. Wheels, we've got these 21-inch wheels forged, and behind that we've got Brembo brakes, no carbon ceramics. I don't think they're available on this car either, which is a shame because it has a top speed of 326 kilometers an hour. It weighs nearly 2 tons, and the brakes, I mean, they do have their work cut out for them, because slowing this down, you know, and we've got winter tires limited at 270, so that's what we've done today. I can't imagine braking from 326 in this car. If you really have to brake in an emergency situation, I'm not sure it will feel that awesome. Braking performance itself is really good, but I'm not sure how many times you can do that. I mean, if you get these brakes nice and hot, I think they will quit on you quite quickly. We've got winter tires, as I said, so these are Pirelli Soto Zero tires, 245s at the front. Very nice wheel, I have to say. It fits the Ghibli really well. And then we've got these TROFEO badges on the side with that little red accent, little red inlays here as well, for the 3 little air vents. And then we've got a cute little Italian flag there on the B pillar, a nice Maserati trident with red accents for the TROFEO. And then at the rear we've got 2 85s rear tires. So yeah, I'm really curious to see what it's like on summer tires. I think we are going to have to do that in the future. There's another reason for that, but I'll come to that later on. We've got the TROFEO exhaust as well with a valve. So the valve opens in sport and Corsa mode. And then we've got a little carbon fiber diffuser here. Very nice. I have to say, the carbon fiber that they use always looks super nice. Alrighty, so let's open the bonnet. There we go. So, wow, that actually looks super cool. Look at that. That is a pretty engine. So this is the 3.8 liter bi-turbo V8 that is basically the engine you get in a Ferrari 488. So it has been built by Ferrari, engineered by Maserati. So they do add their own character to it, but it is a Ferrari engine in essence, which is awesome. One of the differences between this and the 488 is that this has a cross plane crank, and of course the 488 has a flat plane crank. to give it that high revving character. This has a very torquey character. So it's got 580 horsepower and 730 Newton meters of torque, which is super strong. And it's linked to the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. But just the look of this, with that gorgeous piece of carbon fiber on top, absolutely delicious. Oh, I mean, that is eye candy. Performance 4.3 seconds to 100, which is rather quick, and top speed 326, which is also quite high. And let's take a look at the interior as well. So, as I said, the Ghibli has been here for a while. But they did update it in 2021. So we get this very nice infotainment system, which looks much better than before. I think this is a Dodge or Chrysler system, but it works really well. It's not the most intuitive system to operate, but everything is here. The touchscreen responds well. So yeah, I actually quite like that. I think it looks rather clean. Other than that, we've got high highs and low lows. So let's start with the highs. Absolutely beautiful carbon fiber down here with this weave that matches the weave on the cup holder cover, and it just continues through that cover. Same goes for this little cubby down here. Well, most of the weave is beautifully done. This is absolutely gorgeous. All this leather on top of the dash, on the doors as well, with this nice stitching, carbon fiber, aluminium, these beautiful aluminium paddle shifters. That is just lovely, absolutely gorgeous. And then we also have a lot of, well, stuff from the FCA parts bin, basically. So we've got a couple of things from Dodge, like this starter button, like this volume button, this climate stuff. We've got a couple of more Fiat Alfa Romeo type things. It's just not that plush and luxurious in many cases. So some of the things are absolutely gorgeous. You're paying so much money for this car. It's basically BMW M5 competition money. And you want it to feel like that. And some things really do, but some other things don't. And that's a shame. The seats are nice and soft, not that supportive, and you can't adjust the side bolsters, which is a shame, but you do have this gorgeous logo on there with Trofeo as well, and the leather is so soft. That is really nice all around the car. So let's start the car up. I'll open the door a bit. So this is in normal mode, and if we, as I said, if we go to sport, you can hear the valves open. And you have a very nice V8 growl. All right, so let's take this beauty for a drive. Okay, so here we go, drive, and then if we hold this button, we go to Corsa mode, manual for the gearbox, and off we go. Now we can also turn off traction control, but we'll do that a little bit later on, after we've done a launch control. And I have to say, the engine sound you get in this car is pretty nice, although it is quite filtered, but the exhaust sound I can show you guys, because this car has double glazing even. Hope you guys can see that. It's been well insulated, this car, and I think they have like a little bit of a disagreement within itself, that they want to make this Ghibli a super sporty sports sedan, but they also want it to be comfy and a GT car basically. So it kind of feels like it's struggling with its identity. Because that engine is very, very suitable, the gearbox as well, very suitable for a sporty saloon car. But the saloon car itself is not really sporty, so... Oh, but that engine is very, very powerful. It feels really great. Okay, so we're going to go do a launch right here in drive mode. Foot on the brake, hit the left pedal, start. 150 bar brake pressure, here we go. And that's 100 kilometers an hour. So 4.3 is what Maserati claims. I think it's a bit quicker than that. All right, back to manual mode. And now let's turn off traction control. Still in Corsa mode. So the gearbox, the ZF 8-speed, response to the pedals is not the quickest. We know that within the FCA group there are brands like Dodge and Alfa Romeo that have absolutely nailed this gearbox and the calibration of it. So especially the Dodge Charger Hellcat, those shifts are so brutal, and that's basically the same gearbox. Alfa Romeo Giulia and Stelvio Q, same story, super aggressive shift. This is not as sporty, I would say, but it's not bad either. So as I said, the car is set up for comfort basically. We've got multi-link at the rear, double wishbones at the front, and then we've got skyhook adaptive dampers. And the car really has been set up for comfort. But then if you change the dampers to sport with this button down here, or that happens automatically in Corsa mode, the damping is quite firm, but I think it's air suspension is still quite comfy. So it's a very weird combination. I have to say though that these Pirelli Sotter Zero winter tires are really good because they grip when you do a launch control, and the loss of traction is very progressive. So it doesn't feel that gooey and strange on a winter tire. It's mainly the car that feels really a bit all over the place. And of course the fact that you are on winter tires doesn't really help. But it would be interesting to have it on summer tires, because I just want to be able to judge the suspension a bit better. Now let's take it to the Autobahn. As I said, winter tires limited to 270 kilometers an hour, so we are going to stay close to that. Full throttle. And this is where this car shines. This acceleration, it just hauls ass, this car. It is seriously quick. And it feels so powerful. It feels torquey. And it feels like the acceleration will never end, which it does take a while. 326 kilometers an hour top speed. I mean, that has to be one of the most awesome things about this car. If you're competing with all these German sports saloons that are all limited to 305 kilometers an hour at the most, and then this Trofeo does 326. I mean, that is very, very impressive. Unfortunately, we are not allowed to do any measurements on the Autobahn by Maserati, which is a shame. That means that we can't really compare the performance to other cars, to competitors. I mean, we do these measurements with all the cars we drive except for Maseratis, which is a shame because I think it would perform really well actually. So performance wise, after driving it, performance, handling, just the way the car feels, I have to say I think it's closer to a BMW M550i, something like that, than a BMW M5 or M5 competition even. And I think that a lot of potential Ghibli Trofeo owners or people who test drive it run into. I think if you look at the price, it's an M5 competition. If you look at the performance, I can't say that with certainty because we are not allowed to do measurements, but I think it's closer to an M550i than to an M5. And when you look at some of the interior plastics, it's closer to a 3 Series. So you have to be a real lover of this engine, of this platform, of Italian sports cars in general, to consider this car. And you know, I hope that a lot of people will, because it definitely deserves a place, being basically a Ferrari powered 4-door saloon. But it's quite difficult sometimes to look past some of the downfalls. Now, of course, we do want to measure this because it feels super strong, and I want to know how it compares to other cars. So if you are a Ghibli Trofeo owner, or you know anyone who owns one, please let us know. Send us a message on Instagram, a DM, saying that you have one, or you know someone who has one, so we can do some measurements with this car on the Autobahn. And I just had to brake there from like 260, and if I brake again now, I can feel the pedal vibrating a little bit already. So it's already overheating, even though it is a aluminium steel combination to save weight and increase performance. I'm sure it's not really suitable for a 2-ton car to do Autobahn runs, to have to brake like this from 250. I can feel it vibrating. It's not great. It's not very confidence inspiring. And you know, for a sports sedan, for a sports saloon that is supposed to have like real sporting aspirations, it's not too impressive. Oh man, but it does move. This engine is really good. I mean, I know Ferrari won quite a few prizes for this engine. Well, I have to say it fits this car really well. Now, as you've been able to hear, especially on the Autobahn, the sound, it's not really there, which is a shame. It would be cool if you had a little bit more of a V8 sound in the cabin here, also to give you some enjoyment of the fact that you've bought a Trofeo and not just a regular Ghibli. And especially since this is the last V8 powered Ghibli, because the next generation Maseratis will all have the newly developed and in-house developed V6 turbo engine that is in the MC20 right now. That is basically their go-to engine for all new models that are coming. So it really is a last hurrah for the Maserati V8. It's not as good as the German competitors in most areas. It is a hell of a lot more charming and more elegant, and I mean, it's got a Ferrari engine. That should be enough to sell a lot of people, right? It would be great to have some more diversity in this segment, and this really offers that. So that's it for this review, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. You can subscribe by clicking the big button in the middle. You can also check out this video on the right, or go check out this playlist on the left. See you at the next one. Bye.